This mineral is a game changer. I've put the odds in my favor. It's time to close the deal. I wouldn't change a thing. Finally, the buck of a lifetime. Real Deal Mineral. The results speak for themselves.
Welcome to Deer Talk Now. I'm Brad Rooks with our special guest, Matt Serwa, who's from Real Deal Mineral. And it is the perfect time. It's July 1st. It is the time for minerals, isn't it, Matt?
It is my favorite time of year to check the cameras and see what kind of inventory we got going for the upcoming year.
Absolutely. Well, I was really excited. This year, Matt has sponsored a webcam, so we got it up and we're using his stuff. We're using the Real Deal Mineral. And I can tell you this, I actually put that out in the afternoon, sweaty. It was middle of June, sweating, and literally we put it out, dumped out the mineral. We were putting signage up and a little bit of other stuff. And we got back to the house, and at 5:30 I was going to check it to see what it looked like, just so I could see the stagnant. And there were already deer that were sniffing around there. I could not believe how fast I found it.
Cool.
It's just mind-boggling. Now, the one thing I've noticed, Matt, about when you run minerals, for photo-wise, and that's one thing I like. You talked about doing buck inventory. When I run my minerals, I always put a camera on it. I mean, is that in general everybody should do?
That's what I like to do. It's my favorite time of year for that. It's like Christmas morning, you know, when you go pull the cards this time of year and you get to watch them grow and they really start progressing, you know, through July until August. You can really get a good idea what's happening on your deer property.
Now, in your opinion, have you noticed any differences from the time of day when those deer are hitting it? Do they hit it in the mornings? Do they hit it in the afternoon?
This time of year, typically I'll get the best pictures early morning when it's just getting light, and then right at dusk. Yeah.
So peak activity times normally.
Yep.
You know, now the one thing that a lot of consumers don't really realize is the deer will come to the mineral year round, won't they?
Yep. They will come year round. I typically will see a little bit of a slowdown in late October, November when the rut hits, but after that's done, it picks right back up again, and they continue to use it.
Now, I know some of us use mineral year round, but what time of year, in your opinion, is the most important time? When should a guy get this out if he's not going to run it year round?
Well, I would say the best time to start is April, May, into June, July. The heaviest consumption is June and July and August, for whatever reason, I don't know. But that's when I see the most consumption of our mineral.
Now, I know, you guys have had the opportunity to harvest some great deer where you actually found the sheds before, and the amount of mass was just insane that deer grew in over 1 year.
Yeah, the one buck put on was 38 points, 38 inches
38 inches of bone in 1 year.
Yep.
That is amazing. I mean, that's pretty much a testament of your mineral program and what it can do. And that's the beauty of it. Why do people run minerals? You know, for me and you like in the inventory of the deer, but you're making them healthy. I mean, literally, you're giving the deer everything its body needs, and for bucks, that just enhances antlers.
Sure.
And for does, it makes them healthy, and they're going to have healthy fawns.
Yep, it helps with lactation with their fawns, and even this time of year, now that they're starting to, you'll see fawns on the mineral.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's kind of funny you mentioned that, because just the other day I was checking the Cahaba River camera, and it was noon, 12:30, and in comes a little spotted fawn. He bounces through the screen, runs right over to the mineral, eats a little bit, bounces right back to his mom. But it was kind of unique because she was nowhere in the picture at all, and we're looking over a food plot, so I'm sure that he came out of the bedding area, realized that he wanted some sort of mineral and came right back to it. You know, is there any tricks to areas that you want to establish a mineral lick?
Well, I typically don't go out in the middle of the woods. I'll go by a bedding area or a water source or somewhere where they're transitioning to and from food sources, what have you. Seems to work the best. for a mineral site.
Do you always like them close to water? Or is it more?
If I have it, I'll put it somewhat close to water, within 100 yards. I would typically do, you know.
Because you know they're going to come to that in the
Yeah,
summer anyway,
yeah,
right?
they
to
need
drain?
water twice a day, so
they're
make
going to
it
find
a
it easily.
one-stop shop. Yeah.
Is there any tricks for establishing a new lick? So you found your spot, you want to put it by the water source. Is there any tricks to getting those deer to hit that as soon as possible?
We put a little bit of flavoring and tractant in there that they can smell, and they seek it out. So
I can actually smell it from here through the bag right now. The other thing is, I noticed a few raccoons were coming to it, which they must smell the sweet as well. So, you know, we definitely caught them already and got that taken care of. But it's one thing that, you know, if you're attracting those animals. Now, does that smell pull deer in from longer range as well?
well, this time of year, July, August, I'll have just about every buck in the area coming to the mineral. I don't know why that is, but it must be their bodies telling them that it's time to put this stuff in or what have you. But we'll have, you know, deer from 2 miles away coming.
Really?
To the mineral lick.
Wow. You know, the beauty of that is if you can pull in your neighbor's deer, even if they're not there come fall,
Right.
at least you know what kind of potential is in that area, because you just never know during the rut. I mean, those bucks are going to be cruising that same area, and
Anything
if
can
there's a
happen.
giant living on his and you didn't hear about it getting shot,
Yep.
I mean, you might want to hold out because that
Yep.
deer could easily come onto your place.
Absolutely.
Now, I know you do a lot on your own personal farm where you manage food plots as well.
Yep.
Is that the perfect kind of match for the guy that's really into management?
Yeah, this isn't the one-stop solution, deer mineral. You have to have a total package. So if you have your clover plots and your beet plots and what have you, you know, that's all. You're going to make it the best spot for the deer, and that's where they're going to want to be.
Because that way you're getting all the natural, you know, minerals and or what?
They don't have to leave. They
Yeah.
have everything they need.
Everything's right there. And the more, and if you can pull those deer in, especially where you said you can pull your neighbor's deer in, if that deer knows those food sources are there, he's definitely going to come back and check those food sources out.
Becomes more of a social site for them. And
Now, I personally love mineral just because I love trail cameras. And this week, we got a great offer on Shop Deer Hunting where we have a Covert MP6 IR, which is a great camera. It's extremely fast trigger speed, and it's $40 off. So if you go to shopdeerhunting.com right now, you know, it's your opportunity to buy a trail camera. And I just checked the web. It's the lowest price that you can find on that camera on the web. So it's a great price if you're going to go ahead and buy a camera. And if you don't want that camera, there's multiple other ones in the store. But we use Cuttybacks, Moultries, Reconnex, Coverts, Bushnells. I mean, they're all great cameras.
yeah, they come a long way.
Do you have a favorite at all? I don't have a favorite because we use them all. But what's your favorite?
I kind of like the Reconnex cameras.
Extremely fast trigger speed with Reconnex. Very good battery life with Reconnex. They're a little bit more expensive than a lot of the other cameras, but they last. I don't know, how many years have you had yours? Have you had them quite a while?
Oh, yeah, a long time now, probably 4 years.
Yeah, I run a couple of Reconnex cameras, and if you use the lithium batteries, they will run the season and take 10,000 images, I would venture to guess, off that same set of batteries. But anyway, go check out deerhunting.com, and you can see the other specials that we have. If you mention Deer Talk, you automatically save an additional 10%, so it's a great thing. Matt, what else can we talk about on the mineral scene? How many should as a deer hunter, and say I own 40 acres or 100 acres, how many mineral licks should I establish on my place?
I'll typically do 1 per 40
1 per 40
on our
acres?
farms in the Midwest here.
If you have more locations where you have a lot of water sources, would you put one on each one of those water sources, or do you want to try to concentrate all those bucks in one area?
I try and concentrate them in one area. You know, I'll pull them in
Yeah.
from wherever. So
No doubt right in the center of your property.
sometimes yes, sometimes no. You
Yeah.
know, depends on where the location is.
One of my favorite licks is actually, there's a big alfalfa field that comes down right into one of my food plots, and then there's a natural pinch point there, and we got a mineral lick right on that point. And I guarantee you, any deer that's in that alfalfa field in the morning is going to come down through that pinch point, go right over the minerals. The problem is when you put a camera on it, there's so many deer on there, it's going to, every week, then when you pull that camera, even if you're just taking one image every minute, there's thousands and thousands of images on it.
Yeah.
Because you're getting that kind of traffic. So
I don't mind going through a lot of pictures as long as I get pictures that I like. You know?
Yeah.
And this year was kind of funny. I pulled my cards for the first time last week, and I went through probably 4,000 pictures, and I create a folder, Matt's Deer Pics 2014, whatever. So when I got all done doing that, I went and looked at what pictures I saved, and they were all fawns. That's all I kept was fawn pictures.
Really? See, I've been in the same boat. The bachelor group that's found the Cahaba right now is all 1.5 and 2.5. Now, I have another one that we know, and we shut down that mineral site because I'm trying to pull them over, and it's quite a ways away. So I'm hoping your 2 mile thing works.
No,
because right now, as a crow flies right now, the minerals are probably, maybe a mile. So
yeah, that'll be a good test.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think they will come. The beauty of the summer is those deer, once they get into the pattern, they're going to continue to be on the pattern. The big thing for minerals is some states it's not legal. Make sure it's legal in your area. Some states like Illinois, I know you can use them, but you cannot use them during the season, so you got to pull them out and make sure that it's all gone, which is kind of funny because a lot of places have mineral seeps, natural mineral seeps. And one of the farms that we hunt on down in Illinois in Brown County has the biggest mineral seep that I've ever seen. I mean, literally, it's like walking into a dried up pond bed with holes right into the walls that these whitetails come every day. Now, we could legally hunt over that because nobody's ever put anything in there.
Right.
And it's bigger and probably more activity than anybody's, mineral lick that you ever established. I've never seen anything like that. That's on Steve Bartella's farm, so maybe, he's just luckier he had found it, but it's very, very cool. Did you ever hunt very close to your mineral sites, or?
I don't hunt over them, but I have them inside of my stands because, like I said before, it becomes kind of a social site where they're used to coming there. It's a safe place for them. But yeah, I can't say that I have stands right over them, but
yeah, the beauty, we don't either, I wouldn't say it's bait, because they're not going to come. The other thing about minerals is a lot of times you get a lot of nighttime activity as well that they're going to come to it. But if you can establish that over the food plot or next to the food plot, those deer are going to come out in the food plot.
And what I found too over the years is I'll get pictures, like you said, of raccoons, wolves, bears, skunks, you name it. Any animal that's in the woods comes by there eventually just because they smell or whatever the reason, it's a social area. They got to check it out.
I noticed that coyotes will actually try to mark the territory fairly close to it all the time with scat and other things, yes. So I think, like you said, it's a social hub, and they're just marking their territory because they know other coyotes are going to come through there, and they want to make sure that they claim that as theirs. The beauty of this time of year with mineral lakes, when those bucks are in those bachelor groups, there is definitely a pecking order in there, but they're coming all at once.
Right.
Literally in the fall, sometimes you'll get a big dominant buck and he's going to push a lot of those other ones out, but at least this time of year you can get, tons and tons of images.
Yeah, now you're going to start to see what potential they have or what kind of deer it's going to be when they finish growing. Like my deer that I shot last year, my first picture I got of them was on July 1st.
And that deer, if you guys aren't familiar with it, how big was it? I mean, it just wasn't a deer, it was a special deer.
It was 203 7/8 gross inches.
Giant whitetail. Now, you guys have had phenomenal luck, so let's go ahead and talk about your hunting strategies. I mean, so you get a picture of this 200-incher in the spring all summer long. What was your next course of action?
Well, next course gets, how did it go? When the first picture I got of him, I couldn't really tell how big he, was going to be. I knew he was going to be a good one, but he was just kind of, his brow tines were getting, and then big balls on the end of his main beams. But as summer progressed, you could see what he was turning into, and then about a week before season open, I had a picture of him next to one of my stands on a food plot in the daylight with all his buddies out there, and I said, well, we better go hunting opening weekend. So we made a plan, me and my brother, and it worked. Doesn't always work that way, but we got lucky, and he stepped out. So
and there's a good strategy. I mean, so you saw him on the minerals, but you have your other cameras on the rest of the food plots, correct?
Yeah, it's mineral site, food plot, stand location. It's all in a general area.
Check it, and once they're into that food source, the beauty of early season in Wisconsin is they're patternable. They're going to continue on. Normally here, and I don't know about other parts of the country, but the first 2 weeks of the season, it seems they're very patternable. If they're in one food source, they're going to continue to hit that food source. Illinois starts October 1. I don't know if they're quite as patternable as what we have or not. but I know we hunt early season in Kentucky. Last year we went to North Dakota. All the time, all these early season deer, and that was even earlier in September around Labor Day. Those deer are very, very patternable that time of year, so it's a great time of year. Now, do you normally hunt early season, or do you normally hold off?
No, I like to hunt the rut. That's my favorite time of year. So with small kids, I kind of bide my time for.
So did it kill you not to have a tag during the rut last year, or not? Or did you live through your dad and brother?
It was fine. It was fine.
Yeah, once you kill 200 incher, I guess that kind of takes everything off.
Takes the pressure off for the year.
But you guys had a good year overall anyway, didn't you, with other big bucks?
Yep, my father shot a real nice 160-inch deer. That was actually with my deer the night that I shot mine. So
now think about that bachelor group, because we've seen the footage. How many other big deer were out there? I mean, good deer.
There was about 5 other good deer out there that night.
So, and you had to pass up a couple of those right before before your deer showed up.
Yeah, it's hard to do.
So everybody wonders how these guys shoot these giant 200 inchers. You got to be willing to let a 160 go, or this is never going to happen to Dan Schmidt unless that 200 incher comes out first, because he is going to kill. He's going to kill the 130 before the 140, 150, and 160 walk through the door.
That's what you're happy doing. That's what you do, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's all what you really want.
Yeah. Every deer is a trophy. So.
Yeah. The thing that really, brings that home is you said you had small kids, and I have kids that hunt, and you really can't appreciate them. Like when your neighbors are shooting 2-year-olds and you don't have anybody that's doing it on your property, it kind of gets you a little mad, and you don't understand it. The next thing you know, your kids get to the age where they're hunting, and you see how happy they are. Pretty soon the rules go right out of the window for the kids. It's a great time. And in minerals, talking about kids, my son is totally addicted to trail cameras, because when he knows that they're over minerals, he's gonna and he does all the sorting for me. So literally, I don't have to weed through 1,000 images.
That's nice.
Yeah, so literally, he has all the bucks in the category, and here are the shooters, here's the little guys, and here's some cool photos that we have. Coolest image that we ever got when you talked about a social image, I got a picture of a peacock.
Oh, really?
Okay, a peacock in the woods in Wisconsin walking with 2 turkeys. I mean, what are the odds of that? Anyway, that's it. Do you got anything else you want to bring for Talk About Deer Talk Now?
I don't think so.
If not, make sure you guys check out the website, shopdeerhunting.com, special on trail cameras today. We're going to have the Cahaba River camera. It's going to be up on the Deer and Deer Hunting website. So go to the home page. You should be able to see it. It's not going to be on there all the time. We're going to do the peak hours, early morning from probably like 5 to 8 o'clock, and then again in the evenings. There's going to be deer there because they've been hitting it constantly. So make sure you check it out. That's it for today. I'm Brad Rooks. This is Matt Sura. And thank you for joining Deer Talk Now.
Real Deal Mineral. The results speak for themselves.